Okay, tubers, listen up. I have been searching online for this for days, trying to figure out how I was going to work on this clutch. My problem, my Teryx 4, it's a 2012 Teryx 4 750. I guess that was a meteor year, whatever. But there's not a lot of videos on this thing. The two-seater, all day long. Everybody did videos. They were more popular. But the 12 and 13 Teryx 4, nothing. It's so hard to find stuff. So anyway, this is a problem I had. I wanted to make a video for this because I just could not find anything, any help. And so just took it upon myself to try to figure it out. All right, so this thing was knocking, rattling, just making all kinds of racket. Was not fun to drive. You know, it's got about 2,000-ish miles on it. So, you know, that being said, there's my problem. And so I decided to go ahead and remove my primary, secondary belt, all that, to try to figure out what's going on with this clutch. Why, you know, it was running good, but it didn't do what I wanted it to, what I needed it to, and also it was just knocking. It was very bad. So here's what I found. So I've already removed my spring out. You know, I took this plate off. You know, everybody knows how to do that. That's very simple, to change out your spring. So, you know, I'm not going to show you guys how to do that, but here we go. So the tools you will need on this, the main tool that you'll need, everybody's got sockets if you work on stuff, but the main tool you're going to need is, first, you're going to need your spyder removal tool, breaker bar of some sort, right? So you need that. And then also, preferably, you are going to need a vise for sure, okay? And with that spyder tool I just showed you, this right here is a must. So you can make your own if you want to, but I would recommend, if you're doing this often, to go ahead and spend the money on it. This is the fin holder, the lock tool. Kind of locks the bottom sheath in place, and it has a bolt that goes through completely and locks in place the shaft. And so that way you can do what you need to with it, and, you know, make it work. All right. So what you're gonna do, you know, lock that in your vise. Okay. Now, this is where it gets fun. This is what I had to figure out. It took me a couple hours to figure out. Very simple though, once I figured it out. And this will, you know, you can replace your weights and everything with this, but the buttons, you have to do this. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your spyder tool, and I'll just take it off the breaker bar because I've already broke it loose. But you'll take this here, put it on there, right? Spyder tool fits in there, okay? And what you're gonna do is, I was trying everything to get this thing off, even with this, couldn't figure it out. And so I'm thinking in my mind, this is a righty-tighty, lefty-loosey situation, right? I didn't know it was reverse thread, but it is. So anyway, trying. What you don't want to do is what I did. I wound up spinning out the shaft right under here. I spun it out of the bottom sheath. That will unscrew too. You don't want to do that. You don't need to unless you have broken your bottom sheath, you got broken fins, something like that. You have no reason to take that one out, okay? That was my problem, first problem. All right, so got that done, got that figured out, okay. Torque that back in. Now, I realized, still couldn't figure out how to get it out, but I realized really quick that this is a reverse thread, okay? So cranked on it. I'll tell you what, I can't lie to you, with the breaker bar, I used old trustworthy, my 6-foot pipe. That gave me the leverage I need to get it broken. I do not have an impact wrench, so everything I'm doing is by hand, and it worked. So anyway, you are on this machine, on this particular Kawasaki Teryx 4 2012-13, the spyder removal gear that is a reverse thread. So you are righty loosey, lefty tighty. So anyway, so righty loosey, spinning this thing off. Should lift off here in a second. Almost there. Yep. All right, spyder comes off, straight off. And right here, these are the buttons location. These little things right in here. And what they do, you know, is they go in here, blah, blah, blah. They're in the hole. Everybody's happy, right? And they just stop the spyder from kind of rocking back and forth, and they slide up and down on these sheath, on the upper sheath right here. They just slide up and down, and that's what kind of holds it in place. And so replacing these buttons, and while I'm in here, the whole kit I bought for this machine, which they still sell on eBay, the whole kit, I'm gonna go ahead and replace my weights, you know, to see how it is. Same exact weights, 36, looks like what the machine come with. I'm gonna replace my spring, you know, it came with a new spring, and the washer that goes in there, everything that, you know, goes internally in here is what I'm gonna replace. And I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna see how it rides. So, you know, hopefully I got rid of the knocking and fixes my problem, because it is an old machine, and, you know, finding parts for these things is getting slowly more difficult to do. So if you can fix it, and ride it till it breaks. Thanks, guys.